Welcome to Moore's Cemetery. Located in Malton, this cemetery stands as one of the last remnants of historic Malton's early settlement. Many of the village's inhabitants still preside in its graves: the Lundys, the Rowlands, the Burgesses, the Diggins, the McCraws, and the area's first settlers, the influential Moore family. As early settlers began to establish homes and businesses in the area, there was a need for a local church. James Trotter of York donated land where a Presbyterian log chapel was erected on the site. The congregation was placed in the steady hands of the area's first minister, Reverend Andrew Bell. When Bell's wife, Eliza Thompson, daughter of the influential Lieutenant Colonel Edward Thompson, died in 1839, the community realized the need for a cemetery. Samuel Moore dedicated part of his property adjacent to the church as a cemetery for his family and the local community. The burial site became known over the years as Moore Cemetery in his honor, serving the village for over 150 years, with 77 known graves on the site, though it is thought that several more may also have been buried here. Tonight, we invite you to step inside its gates and come face to face with its spirits. The year is 1847, on the eve of a tragedy that has rocked the community to its core. Venture forth, if you dare.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Edward William Thompson. I'm sure you've heard of me. Kind of well known around these parts. I began my career during the Great Patriotic War of 1812, when those reprehensible cousins to the south dared invade Upper Canada. I was with General Brock at the capture of Detroit. I defeated that rapscallion, William Lyon Mackenzie, and it's said that he openly wept when I defeated him in the election of 1836. And after my victory over Mackenzie, he was still not satisfied. So he took up arms, an insurrection no less. So I did the same. And we defeated him again, this time with arms. So you will be joining me this evening, and I will be your guide. Not too long ago, a local resident, Noah Eaton, was brutally murdered in his own home. Tonight, you're going to meet some of the upstanding citizens of this village. Each of them knows something about this crime. But pay particular attention, for one of them is the murderer.
I was born in Glasgow, and in all my 16 years of life, I've never seen anything quite so gruesome, quite so horrifying as what I have just witnessed. My very first dead body. Noah Eaton wasn't much liked around here, though. He never had anything kind to say about anyone. He once told me my yellow bonnet didn't look good on me. On Sunday, Noah Eaton was supposed to come and do business with my husband, but he never showed up. So we walked across our lot over to his house to visit and see if anything was amiss. We knocked at the door and nobody answered. And finally we forced our way in, and the most nauseating thing I've ever seen was lying there on the floor. Well, it was Mr. Noah Eaton with his head bashed in. We looked around at everything, but nothing seemed amiss. There wasn't a single thing turned over, nothing taken. I suppose if the killer was looking for money, he didn't take any. If the killer was somebody who hated Noah Eaton, then anybody could be the killer, because everyone hated Noah Eaton.
I'm Mary Ann Moore. My husband and I own this land that we're in right now. We own the grocery store too. It's a very, very important place. It's the happening place. It's where everybody comes to do their shopping. They don't have to go all the way to Brampton. They don't have to go all the way to Port Credit. Everybody comes to see us, and I hear everything that's going on. Sometimes bad things have happened, and what really distresses me most about the bad things is not that Mr. Eaton is dead from an axe in his own house. What really distresses me is that Reverend Bell thinks it's too scary to live here. He thinks that he's going to get hurt. There's too many dangerous people here. I like Mr. Hamilton better than Mr. Eaton. He was always nice to me when he comes into the store. I wouldn't blame Mr. Hamilton if he did kill him. But I don't know that it's Mr. Hamilton. We're going to figure it out. I mean, Mr. Hamilton does have an alibi, but Mr. Lundy is his alibi. What Mr. Lundy says, Hamilton says, didn't happen. And I can tell you, because with this store, Mr. Lundy came in the very next day for brand new shoes. Maybe he just needed clean shoes because there were footprints found in the blood around Mr. Eaton's body. Makes me shudder just to think that this happened here in our precious Malton. So we'll figure it out, whether it's Mr. Hamilton or Mr. Lundy or anybody else. We'll get it sorted out, make this area safe again. That's what we're gonna do, my husband and I.
What's happening now, I don't understand, and I'm not sure my nerves can handle it. My husband Jonathan and I came to this lovely Toronto township not too long ago, but I don't know what's happening right now. Have you heard about the things going on? An axe murders, an axe of all things. Axe murders, seriously. And I tell you, in my 51 years, I have never felt the fear I have felt now. And that Hamilton, really, when I get a headache, it's because I'm stressed about wrongdoings. Don't you think that makes you just a little guilty? And with all your financial woes, we're gonna find out what happened, but we're gonna need everybody's help to find out what happened.
A lot going on here, so there's a pile of blood, lots and lots of blood. So just going to the scene was pretty, just, oh my God, can't believe I'm doing this already. I wish my mom was here. So it seems like there's a murder weapon, there's an axe to the back of his head. It's what a terrible day, you know. I'm just, you know, he's got an axe to his head. You know, it's just, this gentleman named Noah Eaton, he was laying down on the floor, and I think there was some injuries to his ear, kind of his jaw. That's my expert opinion, at least. Need my composure here for a bit. You know, I'm called to a scene to examine this murder, what happened here. Oh Lord, just wish my mom was here to help me out here. What I've noticed near was there were some bloody footprints. Might have some blood on their boots here. It's being very stressful, so I have to figure out what happened here. So,
Hey Doc, you I hear you passed out at the crime scene. Can take a little blood?
hey, who told you that? Was my mother? No, that's not true. I didn't faint at all. I hope we can get to the bottom of this. I didn't faint this time, I swear. I probably will soon.
So I was with Hamilton that night. I know, me, Hamilton, Eaton, we were all hanging out, just all doing something. You know what, I can't actually remember what we were doing at the time, As weird as it sounds, but we were just talking. I mean, I don't really like being in the room with Eaton at all, and that's just because he's always flashing his cash, always trying to make sure that like everybody sees everything that he's buying, always making sure that Hamilton goes out of his way and is always renting, or making sure that all of his rent's there on time as well. Not that I really know Hamilton, by the way. I mean, we're just acquaintances as well. Afterwards, me and Hamilton, we took a little walk. We started walking back to my place. As soon as that happened, he kind of like stopped for a second and he was just like, "Lundy, I need a second." And walked away. It was like 10 minutes or so, like it couldn't be more than that, and he just walked right back over, looked perfectly fine, nothing going wrong. I went to my house and I did what everybody does at that point, which is go out and farm in the middle of the night. And so as I was out farming, I was walking around, I was cutting down some trees and things like that, and all of a sudden, I stepped in manure. Can you believe it? In the middle of the night. My shoes were ruined. I mean, I couldn't really fix them. We had to throw them out right away. Went down to Moore's store, and when we went down to Moore's store, heard that Eaton had finally bit the dust. And you know what? Not that sad.
Lundy, farming in the middle of the night? How'd you see? Were you lighting the cow dung on fire?
You know what? You're cowplop, Thompson. I don't even think you fought in a war. Now, I just want to say that to you. And you know what? Maybe somebody should deal with you. Maybe you should come to my farm tonight. I mean, now I have a lot more money than him, I guess, because he's in the grave. You know, like everyone wished. I mean, everybody was fine with it. It's fine. It's not a big loss. Hey, Thompson, over there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Why don't you come visit my farm tonight? Maybe I'll go chop down some trees. Come on, let's go.
I'm worried about my husband, Mr. Lundy. I can't find him, and he's been behaving so eccentrically. He came home in the middle of the night. I had just been up with my 4 children. I have 4 children that I have to take care of. And he said he was cleaning manure out of the stalls in the middle of the night. He's never done that before. I don't know what to think. And he had all this money and he was showing it around. He didn't give anything to me. I have nothing in this. And we bought a brand new pair of brown shoes, very expensive shoes. And that was when Mr. Moore said to us that Mr. Eaton, Noah Eaton, had been murdered. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. Meanwhile, my husband is just sitting there twiddling with his gold coins. And I wondered at the time, why wasn't he reacting as badly? Because I know that he was with Mr. Eaton and I think Mr. Hamilton the other night. And I trust my husband. I really, really do. But the way he's been acting, I really am not certain anymore. I mean, here I am wandering around looking for my husband. Has anybody seen my husband? Mr. Lundy, where is he? Where is he?
I'm Rachel Moore, 14. Can you believe that my parents didn't think I was old enough to actually understand a murder? The absolute disrespect! By the way, do you know who killed old man Eaton? It's just, I can't believe someone would kill someone with an axe. Axes are meant for trees, not people. Come on. Ow, you.
What are you doing in my shot? Get the child away.
I don't trust you. Anyways, can I see the bottom of your shoes? And do you know who killed old man Eaton?
I knows why you're here. You wants to know about the Noah Eaton case. It's shocking that's what it is. Shocking. Something like that should happen here in Malton, this fine community. And fine it is. Sure, I had 6 of my 9 children here. I just can't believe it. My baby had to go and look at a dead body, and that bloody mess is shocking. That's what it is. Charles told me not to tell anybody, but I know she won't. Well, he told me that Noah Eaton, he was laying on the floor in a bloody mess, and his axe was right next to him. His own axe. And Charles told me he was hit on the back of the head, a couple of knocks. Well now, there's people that's told me they knows who it is, and it was James Hamilton. He was at Noah Eaton's house that night. Yes, they saw him. Neighbors saw him at Noah Eaton's that night. And James owed him money. Sure, that's cause enough. I told you. And I told you, Charles. Did I tell you he was a doctor? And he's the coroner too. And he said there was blood all over the place. And there was footprints in the blood. My goodness, I told Charles, you know what they should do? They should check James Hamilton's footprints, and they should check his shoes and all the neighbors' shoes. Because if there's blood on his shoes, there's blood on his hands. Mark my words. And that's all I can say about it.
Listen, what are you people doing? Can you just leave me alone? Listen, I'm innocent. I'm getting tired of all these accusations. Just, can you people get away from me? Honestly, God, this town's so full of gossip and people making accusations about me that are unfounded. What's going on? Can you people leave me alone? Get away from me. What is with you people? Can you leave me alone? I've not done anything wrong. I'm getting sick and tired of you guys following me around. Okay, look it. I'm innocent. I don't know why you guys have to keep hounding me. There's no evidence against me. If you guys can just leave me alone.
Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Just, is this the evidence you're going to accuse me with? Perfect. The hanging judge right there, he doesn't even want to wait for the evidence. Yeah, this is the axe that Colonel Thompson wants to frame me with. This is not even my axe. There isn't even any blood on this axe. This is the axe that they said was used to murder Noah Eaton. Well, the fact is they don't know whether this is the murder weapon or not. I don't even have an axe. I don't need an axe. I'm a land jobber. I'm a guy who rents out properties to people, and maybe I charge a little bit too much for rent. I'm giving them good service for the rent. That's why they want to see me gone. They don't like me, and they don't like me because they think I charge too much for rent. Let me tell you something about the people that are accusing me of the murder of Noah Eaton. You got John Lundy. I rent property out to him. He saw that I was talking to Noah Eaton, and yet we were just talking. 8 p.m. We left cordially. You've got Mrs. Rowlands later on saying is that she saw Eaton in his house starting a fire at 9 p.m. How could I have killed him at 8 p.m. and that he's still alive at 9 p.m.? And then you've got John Burgess. Have you heard about this guy? He's the biggest problem of them all. This guy owes me money for debts. He's the worst gambler this side of Meadowvale. He'd like to see me hang just so he wouldn't have to pay me. Thompson's trying to frame me up because he's trying to find an easy way out of this murder. It's all a frame up, it's all a lie. You guys are bugging me over nothing. I want you to get the heck away from me. I'm tired of you guys following me. I'm innocent. This is all just a frame up. Come on, get lost. Can't believe the lack of justice in this town.
The sun's going down. So, have you figured out who's committed the murder yet? Why don't you go talk to Andrew, my son-in-law? Oh, don't worry, he didn't commit the crime. You need to have intelligence to do something like that.
Warm this time of year, isn't it? Let us walk, my child. I do not wish to speak ill of the dead, but old man Eaton, he thought more of himself than he did of the God-fearing parishioners of Malton. Old Noah may have loved God, but he did not fear him. He lived like a lord, but he gave very little to the Lord on the Sabbath. Hamilton spends too much time in taverns and is not in church enough. He thinks more of money than his soul. You want to know if James Hamilton returned to the old man's cottage? Well, who are you going to believe? John Lundy or James Hamilton? The man who told that excellent Mrs. Lundy that he would be better off if the old man were in his grave. How could he remember Hamilton returning to that cottage if it did not happen? But why would Lundy lie? Lundy, of course, is not my concern, nor is Hamilton, nor is Eaton, nor is Malton for that matter. Malton has many good and even godly people, but many ruffians as well. My time here is coming to an end, I very much hope. Wheresoever goes the corrupting dollar, so too goes the corrupted soul. Let us pray for peace, justice, and mercy.
I tell you, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it that Eaton is dead. Oh my stars, my stars. I was just talking to the man just a day or so ago, and there I am in the bar, you know, drinking out my sorrows there. And Hamilton comedy, don't it take up like 2 hours of my time in the bar, you know, just going on, and drinking. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, what time was he with me and what time was he with Eaton? And was he with Eaton? And is it possible that he would be a killer? And I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He's looking good to me. His hair wasn't disheveled. There wasn't any blood stains. His clothes were fine. And he's just talking to me, and ordering him another beer, and we were drinking. And the time, you know, the time is going by. And afterwards, I'm trying to put the two together. Is he the one? Is he the one who killed Eaton? He's just spending time with me, so he has you know, what they call an alibi. I guess I'm the alibi. I know. So we're all in this together, you know, as brothers, you know. And so I'm really, really shocked right now. I cannot believe Eaton is a gone.
Mr. Burgess!
What are you yelling at me for there?
You've no ladies! You've no lady luck either!
Why don't you go on your way? Go on your way, sir. Go on your way. I don't know. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it.
My husband and I live with our children right near the Eaton property. And on the night of the murder, I was paying attention to what was going on outside. Now, some people think I might be a little bit nosy, but I'm just taking care of the community around me. And on that night, at 8 p.m., I saw two men walk up the driveway. And then later at 9 p.m., a flash of light, like a regular fire being started. So I know that Mr. Eaton had to be alive at that time, because if he wasn't, then he wouldn't have been able to start a fire. So it couldn't have been Mr. Hamilton. He was gone by then.
Mrs. Rowlands, maybe Mr. Eaton's was writhing in a final agony and knocked over a pan with grease and then would have been lit by a fire. That might have been the flash that you were seeing. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I know that that's not what it was. It was the light of a fire being started.
Well, my friends, there you have it. We've heard a lot of compelling stories today, and I'll be honest with you, I'll confess this. Despite the fact that many people are looking to me to solve this crime, despite my years of experience and my connections, I have to say that while at the beginning of this exercise I was more confident, I'm not so confident now. And I think you guys are going to really have to piece this together yourselves. Who did it? Who did the murder? Was it that person? Was it her? Was it them? Was it you? Probably wasn't you, but figure this one out. This is a tough one, I have to admit. I don't know. I just don't know. I think this is something that you need to put together. You need to figure this out. It's up to you.
Would you hazard a guess towards who the dastardly devil was that murdered 65-year-old Noah Eaton in cold blood on February 20th, 1847? His body was found lying face down in a pool of blood, murdered with his own axe in his cabin in Toronto Township. Though Eaton was not well liked in the area, it was imperative for the safety of the community to catch the axe murderer on the loose. Suspicion immediately fell on James Hamilton, who had rented land from Eaton, owed Eaton money, and was involved in a legal case against Eaton. According to a witness in the case, Hamilton was the last reported person to see the victim alive. Hamilton was seemingly the only one with a motive, means, and opportunity to commit the murder. Incriminating statements made by Hamilton to others in the days following the murder suggested that he might be guilty. Despite the case being largely circumstantial, Hamilton was viewed as the guilty party from the outset. James Hamilton was tried for Noah Eaton's murder in May of 1847 and was found guilty after only 20 minutes of deliberation. Hamilton was hanged for the murder on June 22, 1847. Do you think he was guilty?
I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Cannot. Why don't you go on your way? Go on your way, sir. Go on your way. Oh, you too. Go on your way. Thank you.